Welcome to the Lotus Rocher Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We are here tonight with another great show with another powerful influencer that is intended to be here just for you. Hello and welcome back to the Lotus Rocher Ignite Show. I have got a fabulous guest for you, honey, and we want you to come on in and get in where you fit in, because I've always got room around my table for you, of course, because I'm bringing inspiration to every nation. So go ahead, run and tell a friend, and even tell your frenemy to come on in, because it's time to take what? Get ignited. Why? Because we want you to ignite and take flight in every area of your life. And tonight, we are going to take flight and help you stop leaving money on the table. I've got a phenomenal guest with me tonight that you do not want to miss. So go ahead and tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your son and your daughter, and even tell your frenemies to come on in, because tonight, we're going to win. Now, as I always say, go ahead and get your notepad and get your pen. Why? Because note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. So come on in. And I know a lot of you oftentimes say, Lolo, what you got in your cup? So Lolo wants you to know what I got in my cup. So you go get you something and put in your cup, and I'm going to grab my cup and I'll tell you what I'm drinking. Tonight, I'm drinking peach oolong tea. Drink with me. All right, I got some peach oolong tea. Ooh, that's nice. Now, most of you know that I spent time abroad living in Japan, and I was a tea person, primarily because I like teas that are great for the body and that boost the immune system. And oolong tea is great for doing that. So come on in, get in where you fit in, because I've always got room around my table for you. Now, if you haven't started a watch party, if you haven't liked and shared, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, like, share, start a watch party, like, share, start a watch party, and run and tell somebody, because tonight, my phenomenal guest is here, and we are going to help you stop leaving money on the table. And what table do we mean? Well, you got to wait and see what we mean. Why? Because my guest is here, and she's all the way from Frederick, Maryland, by way of Boston. She is a remarkable young lady, and she is the queen of Stop Leaving Cash on the Table. She's the Stop Leaving Cash on the Table expert, and I've got her here with me tonight. She's also the CEO of Collect the Cash, and you're going to need to go to collectthecash.biz and check her out. But with no further ado, I'm going to bring to you my guest, Miss D. Bowden. Say hello.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We're in the building. So let me do a little course correct. It's actually Bowden, so actually it's D. Bowden, and then the company is actually called BCS Solutions, and then Collect the Cash is the new book. But
all right, fantastic.
Get everything, get all the facts straight. So again, it's D. Bowden, BCS Solutions. I'm originally from Boston, now living here in the great city of Frederick, Maryland. Website is www.collectthecash.biz. That's www.collectthecash.biz. To Miss Lotus and your phenomenal audience, thank you for having me here. Yes.
Yeah, she had to correct the Jersey girl, because we are meshing. I usually do really well, especially with farmer names, but us Jersey folks, we're meshing your name up. Thank you so much. And even when we talked offline, we was just talking and had such fun. We didn't even think about that. But anyway, I want you to welcome my guest, and we're super happy to have you here tonight. And D, a lot of people, especially in the past, I'd say year, but even before that, people were leaving cash on the table.
Yeah.
because we didn't know how to get the cash off the table.
Mhm.
So I'm super happy that you're here with us tonight. And I told the folks a little bit about you, and what I didn't get exactly pinpoint laser precision correct, you did that, but that's not enough, hon. You got to get in the hot seat. Tell us a little more, not a little, but tell us all you want to tell us about you and what you do.
Okay. Well, before I get into who I am, like I said, I want to say thank you again to you and to your fabulous audience for this opportunity to be here. Who am I? I'm D. Bowden. I'm originally from Boston, as the intro said. Now I live in Maryland. Fun facts about me. I absolutely love smooth jazz, hot air balloon rides, and Ferris wheels. People are like, what does that have to do with money? Nothing, but it's the things that I love doing. And so here's the thing. Because here's the thing. I believe as a part of who I am, I believe you have to have balance, and all of us who are listening tonight and tomorrow and in the future and around the world, you got to figure out what makes you smile, what brings you joy. So for me, smooth jazz is absolutely, one of those things that absolutely makes me feel really, really good. What I didn't share was I love old school music. So if I can get some really good old school music, a good rhythm, man, I may have to come off this shirt, put on a t-shirt and some jeans and some sneakers. Let's go. Let's kick it and let's dance. Let's get it in. Let's
That's
get
what
it
I'm
in.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Because after we get all proper and and sit up straight and all that, after that I'm like, okay, let's roll back. So I love to have fun. I love to laugh.
Awesome.
As you can tell behind me, I like to read. So that's another fun thing. I love good wines. So in my cup is a good red blend. I love a good red blend wine. That's one of my favorites. Oh, and water. I do water.
Water. Awesome. So look, folks, we both have our water. I got my Izumio and she has her water. So when we come, we come right. Okay. Yeah. So get you some water and hang on tight because the show's going to be dynamite. Why? Because I've got D on a platform with me, and we're not leaving any money on the table. Absolutely. So let's get right into it. What inspired you to come on the show tonight? Because I know we chit-chatted this past weekend and we had a great time.
We did.
So just let our viewers know what inspired you.
So what really inspired me was that I had been watching you interview some phenomenal people, and I was like, how little kids are like, I want some of that. I want to do that too. And so I finally, to be totally truthful, I finally got up the courage to reach out to you and say, hey, I'd like to be a guest. And you were like, oh, okay. And then it took a little time for us to find it. And I think, I had to continue watching you and see how you move in the world and how you interview people. And then obviously you had to see me and you're like, are you this kind of, because I mean, let's be truthful. Everybody doesn't allow everybody on their show.
Exactly.
That's really true. That's
exactly.
And obviously you had to see and check me out and see, okay, will she be a good fit for me and my audience? And obviously I am, or otherwise I wouldn't be here. So let's keep it 100. So so that was it. But no, I mean, first of all, I liked your style, I liked your energy, and I liked how you were talking about, making a difference, reaching the world, and teaching. And when you're open, you said get a pen and a notebook. I normally tell everybody, get your pen, pencil, notebook, and absolutely your favorite beverage. Because I want you to take your notes, but I want you to enjoy it while you're doing it as well. Because when you leave, I want you to be like, oh man, I could go listen to her again. Because one, she's funny, but she's also informative, and she wants me to get better in whatever the area is. So in my case, it's money.
Exactly. And I'm so happy that you were able to come, because that is one thing that I do look for when people are asking about the show. And as you know, nobody comes to the show without having a private conversation with me, because it's all about energy and the message that we're trying to bring to the world. And I like people who like to laugh and have fun and have a good time. And let me let y'all know, Dee and I, we laughed our heads off. She's going to tell you guys about something later. Y'all gonna crack up. But Dee, I got to tell you something later too. When we talk about the funny stuff, ask me what happened to me at the bank tonight. It's gonna crack you up. Okay. Anyway, so thank you for letting the folks know what inspired you to come to the show. So folks, Come on, get in where you fit in. Like, share, start a watch party. Run and tell somebody that I got T-Bowden here with me tonight, and we getting this show lit on fire. So let me ask you this.
Sure.
Why do you do what you do? Tell people what you do and why you do it.
Well, what I do is I'm a revenue recovery specialist. So in simple terms, that means I collect money. Now, when people hear the word collections, let me already set the table for y'all. Since we're talking about stop leaving money on the table, let me set the table for you. When you hear the word collections, most people cringe because they have this association with collections, meaning bills, medical bills, car repossession, the IRS, things like that. That's not this kind of party. There are two types of collections. There's what they call consumer collections, which is the things I just talked about. And then there's commercial or business collections. I have been in the business collections for over 20 years, but I didn't really start off that way. I kind of started off doing data entry, and then I discovered I loved doing accounts payable, accounts receivable, and then all of this came all together by being a contract administrator. And then when I learned that every business has a contract of some sort, I was like, I want to do that. And because then I realized it touches all the areas. It touches sales, it touches contracts, it touches an order or a service that you provide, invoicing, and then collections, my part. So that's part. And then why do I do what I do? Because I love to solve problems. The logo for my business is actually a puzzle. It's actually a puzzle piece. And I've always loved puzzles, and I've always loved solving problems. And so God gifted me with this ability to solve money problems and then serve businesses, corporations, government agencies. And I'm like, okay, this is fun. And then I decided to, if I'm going to be in this space, I'm going to have fun doing it because you got, I don't know. I wish I could tell y'all, raise your hand. How many of y'all wake up to your job or to your business and you're like, man, I don't feel like doing this today. I don't like this part. I don't like this. I don't like this part. This part's hard. This part.
That's right.
This part is really taxing. And I decided that if I was going to do this for a living and then as a career and grow and have a business, I was going to enjoy it and I was going to bring something different. And it really kind of evolved because I started doing data entry and then accounts payable and then contract administration and now revenue recovery. But I realized I like to solve problems. I enjoy getting to know people, and I build relationships over the phone and email a lot. And then I found out that I'm pretty funny, and then people responded to the humor, and I realized that. Oh, and then the secret sauce. So there's three things about why I love what I do. Number one, I love to solve problems. Number two, I believe the collections or your business is an extension of customer service. And then three, above my head, it says a cup of gratitude. I believe that gratitude is the secret sauce for most things. It's kind of like when your mother told you, or your mother or your grandmother, whoever raised you, they taught you two things. They taught you one, say please, and the second thing they taught you was say thank you. And it's amazing that in the world we live in today, we almost have to be reminded to come back to like civility and say please, and thank you. Like right now, we're in the holiday season. Going to the post office, this is kind of offbeat, but going to the post office, if you see somebody with the package, hold the door for them. Most people will tell you thank you. You'd be surprised. Just those little things. But I decided for the work that I do, because I deal with money, to bring a different approach to it. And people are like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I am," and it works. So that's what I do.
So let me ask you this, because you said a lot. You said a lot in a short amount of time. And so, folks, if you love what Dee is saying, I want you to put a number 2 in the comment block below. Put a number 2 in the comment block below, because she asked you a question, which causes critical thinking. She's making you go deep inside. Have you ever gone to work and felt like, I don't want to do this anymore? Or have you ever had to ask somebody, can I take the day off? Can I spend time with my family? Or can I just lay in the bed and not do nothing because I don't want to come to work today? Right? Have you got into the bathroom and did your I'm sick voice? I can't be in today. Well, what's wrong with you? I stubbed my toe. Well, why you sound like that? I don't know. You don't practice so much being sick. When you call, you don't forgot what ailment you're supposed to have. So If you
Yeah.
feel it that way, you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Look, the numbers just went up. You know what I mean. Put a number 3 in the comment block. Put a number 3 in the comment block because we get real. We gonna. I mean, we keep it at 100 as we always do because we want to help you ignite and take flight.
Right.
And stop leaving money on the table of your life. Okay. So let's this is what I want to ask.
Sure.
You said you talked about gratitude
Mm-hmm.
and you always keep that above your library there. And I love that.
Thank you.
And I always do moments of gratitude. I talk about gratitude all the time because I feel that gratitude is the elixir to poverty.
That's different. I never heard about it that way, but okay, that's different.
And I say that because the more gratitude we put out, the more abundance we welcome in.
Agreed.
And so you talked about gratitude. What is your thoughts about what I just said? The elixir to poverty. And if you agree with that, can you tell us why?
Sure. Well, number one, I've never heard about it being the elixir to poverty. I've just heard it being one of the things that changes things. It changes people, perceptions, attitudes. Because when somebody says thank you, you're like, sometimes you're like, or some people are like, well, you don't have to thank me. It's like, no, I do. I want to say thank you because I want you to know that I appreciate what you did for me. Now, as the elixir to poverty, I'll be honest, that's a deep one. I'm like,
that's a Lotus quote. That's a quote. That's a quote from my new book.
I was gonna say, that's a deep one. And if we're gonna go deep, I would have to sit and think about the elixir to poverty, because if you're declaring that poverty could be eradicated by saying thank you, then the people that have already been saying thank you, how come they're still in poverty?
Because it's about how we think.
Okay. All right.
And remember, last week I did a segment on changing how you think.
Yes.
I had the CEO of the Think and Grow Rich Institute,
right,
Mr. Satish Verma here. And we talked about that. Then I had another gentleman, Mr. Jahid, all the way from Germany. We talked about thinking outside of the box. And the reason why I feel that the gratitude is the elixir to poverty is because when you come from a well of thanks, your well is never empty. And so when I talk about poverty, I'm not talking about financial poverty. I'm talking about the poverty of the mind, thinking, oh, I can't have anything I want. Oh, I can't lose weight because I can't see it for me. But when you're constantly thanking, it's that continual prayer. When you're constantly thanking, you open the well, if you wish, for more positive things to drop in.
Okay,
so you're never impoverished.
That part I absolutely can agree with. And now that you explain it like that, because we're talking about money, I think money. So my brain was like, I was going, well, how that part. But now that you said that, absolutely, because I don't believe you can receive anything new until number one, you acknowledge and are grateful for what you have.
Yes.
I think that's your foundation. I think you have to start with, your song used to say, be grateful, in all things. Not necessarily for all things, but in all things. Be grateful that you've got life and health and strength and those things. Then I believe that gratitude is steps. Like you start with your foundation and then you add to it. Now you talked about the well. The well, I think when you get to the well, that's like the highest. I think that's the highest place you are, because you're all the way open. But I think if you want to get to that part, you got to start with the two things I said, please and thank you. Start there and then keep adding to it. And I think it's not is it only just a mindset. I believe it's a habit. It's a habit of saying thank you, because we started the show. What is the first thing I said twice? Thank you so much for being. I said it out loud because people are like, oh, you always say thank you. Well, because I know that gratitude, for me, you said it's the elixir. I say gratitude changes things. And the reason I believe that the things that have happened for me has been because I've been grateful, and because I recognize that all of my blessings come from God. I don't get anything without Him. So that's how
Exactly.
it starts. And then it's like, then I get to, I take the blessing and then let's run with it. Like tonight, we get to run with it and have some fun.
Yep. That's awesome. And when you said like the well is like all the way up, I was like, that song came all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. That's right. And that's where we are trying to go, many of us. And in order to get there, we have to have those moments of gratitude. And so, look, y'all, I told you.
Yes.
She's setting the place on fire. So, look, let's go ahead and check out who's with us tonight.
Yes.
Okay. So, we've got Angela. Thank you, Angela, from Washington, D.C. Who else we got, D?
All right, we have Miss Hillary Bowden from Chicago. Hey.
All right. And Angie said, got my notepad and pen too.
And get your favorite beverage. Don't forget that part. Hello, Sandra from Douglasville, Georgia. She's a Facebook user. In the house. Hey, what's up?
Note takers are money makers, and that's what we know. Note takers are money makers. So I'm happy that you're taking notes because you need to take some notes. Nikki Hammer, all the way from Chi-Town. Hey, good evening.
Hey, what's up, Nikki?
And she says, so true. All right.
Hey, Dr. K's in the house. What's up, Dr. K? That's my buddy. Hey. All right.
All right, April Hopkins, good to see you, darling. Common courtesy and common decency. That's right. And so we got a bunch of twos. They wanted the secret sauce. They wanted to know. And your friend said, "What, honey? Yes,
yes, Dr. K. Oh man, I'm. Oh my gosh, we have somebody from South Africa. Wow, that's amazing. What's up?
All right, Dr. Florence, all the way from South Africa, Pretoria.
Nice.
Good to see you. Happy to have you here.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Who else we got, D?
We have Angela Basin Williams. Hey.
All right, and let us know where you coming in from. We want to know where you coming in from. We want to know the secret sauce. Camille Rob, good to see you. Let us know where you coming in from. Nikki Hammer said, hello, good evening. Come on in and share or swipe out the broadcast. And did you start your own watch party? That's right. See, she know how to come in the house. So listen, folks, for those of you that's just coming in, I've got a fantastic person here tonight. She is here with us all the way from Frederick, Maryland, by way of Boston, Massachusetts. She is the remarkable Stop Leaving Cash on the Table expert. I said it, you know it. Speak it into existence. She is the CEO. You want to tell them a little bit more?
So I'm the CEO of BCS Solutions, and the website to learn more is www.collectthecash.biz. That's www.collectthecash.biz.
You see, I get the folks ignited when they come in here. So listen, we're going to jump right into our next question. Mm-hmm. Okay. The thing that most people do when they get into their jobs or when they know that their purpose is calling them, mm-hmm. sometimes it's hard to really get into their purpose. So I'm going to ask you this question, and we're going to take a quick break before you get an answer.
Okay.
Because I want our folks out there, I want them to answer this too. So folks, I want you to put in the comment, answer this in the comment. Okay. How did you know that you were doing what you were doing was the path for you? Mm-hmm. How did you know what you were doing was the path for you? And I see some folks putting in some hearts and some thumbs up, and I see a little angry face. And you may not have meant to put that little angry face. So go ahead and put a smiley face. Okay, put a smiley face. Because last night I was on and I talked about the fact that people cannot get the help that they need. And somebody put an angry face. Yeah, you're right. But put smiley faces, folks, put smiley faces. So that's the question. How did you know that you were doing that what you were doing, this was the path for you? Mm-hmm. Let us know how you found out, you, the viewer, how you found out that you were on the right path. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back, and stay tuned. We got more show for you. If you're an entrepreneur and you are ready to live the dream in 2021, well, come on and get on board with the visibility strategist herself, the CEO of Unity in Service, where people need people, the phenomenal Patricia Rogers as she presents Entrepreneurs Living the Dream 2021. It's an online event that you don't want to miss. There will be several opportunities for public speakers, public TEDx speakers. You heard it right, public TEDx speakers. Starting on February 25th, 2021, June 24th, 2021, October 21st, 2021, April 22nd, 2021, and August 26th, 2021. You don't want to miss this. Get at her at info@patriciarogers.com, info@patriciarogers.com, where unity and service, where people need people. Go ahead. Go. I love that beat. I love that beat. Hey, we all the way up. So before we went for our quick commercial, we asked, how did you know that doing what you do was the path for you? And Dee's going to answer that first, and then I'll go and check out some of your responses. Dee?
All right, well, Miss Lotus, let me tell you, how did I know that doing this was the path for me? I'll be honest, I didn't. I promise you, I didn't. What I did know is that I've always liked to solve problems, and by being this curious person, always wanting to know the why behind the what, and like I said, I love to solve problems. And it just so happened that I figured out that, or the jobs that I've had in my career and now in my business, it's always been some kind of problem. I mean, I've always had, money. I've always had either a contract issue, vendors who didn't get paid for their services or products, which is another problem. And I always wanted to understand, okay, so why not? Oh, well, how come? And then, and everything, as having served in the military, everything has a process. There's always a system to how things work. And so I learned systems, but not just learning the system. I wanted to know, well, why with the system? And then how did I figure out that doing this was, it really, I think, what really kind of kicked off was last year. So like in the past few years, I've been on this journey, but last year I was given an opportunity to tell my story. And if it's okay, I'll share it with y'all now. All right. So last year I was given this opportunity to tell my story. And so what had happened was this. I used to work for a small IT company outside of Boston, where I'm from. It was an IT company, and they had a collections department. And so they hired me to come in and collect some money. Now, what they didn't tell me was I was getting set up. I was like, oh, goodness gracious. So I get in, I'm all, hey, welcome aboard, yada, yada, yada. Come in. I'm like, yep. Okay, here's your cubicle. Here's your list of accounts. Get to work. Now, when I sat down, they gave me my list of accounts. They had $8 million in outstanding receivables. Don't faint, because I almost did. Trust me. When I first saw the list, I was like, are y'all kidding? $8 million? Who sells this much money and leaves? How do you leave that much money on the table and not collect it? I was like, okay. So in my journey, I'm a believer. So I kind of had a conversation with God. It kind of went like this. Hey, God. Yes, D. How are you? You know what, God? Overall, I'm good. But look here. I don't know how to collect $8 million, God. And you said in your word that you have not because you ask not. So I'm going to ask you real quick. I need a clue or a cue. This was long before Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where they had the 50-50 and the lifeline and call, phone a friend. I ain't had none of that. I had Almighty God. Real quick. I need something real quick because I just got hired and I need to keep my job. And I need to show these people that they made a valuable investment in me. So I get quiet. And then something pops up and I'm like, oh, I know what to do. And so literally I went to work, and so how I've gotten to what I do today is that, number one, I'm a believer. And number two, it's always, my faith is always a part of what I do. But number three, when I was able to sit down quietly and ask God, how do I do this? What came to mind was solve the problem. The reason that $8 million is outstanding is because it's a problem. And so my journey to how I get to do what I do now is that I said it. It's about solving problems. These customers bought IT services from this company. So customer service had not been extended. So I needed to solve the problem. I needed to extend customer service, and I needed to say thank you. So the gratitude piece came in was when I started calling the customers to find out how come they didn't get paid. And when I worked on solving their problem and told them thank you, then the money caught it in.
Yeah.
And so I recovered $6 million in 60 days while working part-time. Now, as phenomenal as all of that is, the CEO of the company says, listen, we need to have a chat. So we all come downstairs. And if, I don't know if you've ever worked for a company, when they call you downstairs, you're like,
it's not a good thing.
You no, well, let me correct that.
They call you upstairs.
Well, one of the two, but sometimes you think if the CEO gathers everybody, but depending upon the time of the year, you might think, hey, we're about to get a bonus. Because I'm thinking for the amount of money I collect, I'm like, we're about to get a bonus. Like, no, that's not how it went. So we get downstairs and he says, listen, I want to thank everybody across all departments for your work. Everybody, that's sales, that's contracts, that's order entry, data entry, invoicing, and my lane collections. Thank you all for your services. Appreciate everything you've done. We've made an executive decision. We're closing the company. You got 30 minutes to go get your stuff and leave the building 2 months before Christmas.
Wow.
True story.
Wow.
And
so, wait. We're in the Christmas season now.
Exactly, which is why I'm telling this story.
Christmas season now. If this has ever happened to you, put a number 4 in the comment block below. Put a number 4 in the comment block below, and we're going to check it. Please go ahead, D.
Yeah, and so come downstairs. Thank you for your services. You got 30 minutes to get your stuff and leave the building. This is 2 months before Christmas. So $8 million worth of sales on the books. I get hired. I talk to God. I get my $6 million back. I'm thinking I'm getting a bonus, and so is everybody else. 100 people lose their jobs 2 months before Christmas. Now, I go upstairs, kind of like, I feel like Charlie Brown. If y'all watched it while you're watching the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, you know, his boyfriend get that little tree. I felt like him when I got my little box and I'm walking out the door. Now I'm being funny now, but back then it wasn't funny. I mean, I'm boohooing like crazy because I was a part-time employee, but I along with 100 people lost their jobs 2 months before the Christmas season, and that did something to me. So the question that you asked me, how do I know what I'm supposed to do now, is because of what happened to me personally. I watched myself as a part-time employee, along with everybody else, lose their jobs. I watched everybody's life get turned upside down, and I didn't know then, but there was something that happened to me that made me go, I don't want to see this happen again. Right. I don't want to see another small or medium or any size company, if I can help, I can assist them, not have this happen to them. Because if those of you that are listening, if you've ever worked for an employer and you've been laid off, that feeling is awful. Because it does something to you. You feel like, well, I showed up every day. I worked really hard. I played by the rules. All that. And sometimes it has nothing to do with you. That had nothing to do with me. I collected a lot of money, but executive decisions were made. And what it also taught me was that your life can change on a dime, and you have to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yes.
That part.
I love that. And like, we always have to be prepared, because you and I, we talked, and I've gone through some similar things that you have gone through. And so let's check in with some folks and see. Wow, we got some long comments. So we got some long comments. Okay. Let me see. Let me come down here. Okay. Camille says she's coming in from fabulous Florida. Okay. Fantastic. All right. What's Camille saying?
When God just kept turning me around because I wanted to do my own thing.
Wow. So God kept turning you around until you actually went to do your own thing. Because I've spoken to Camille, and Camille does like some amazing work on the planet. She really does. Okay. I like this right here. She said, you have to ask God and he will answer. And see, like you said earlier, we have not because we ask not. And then she said, this is crazy. So she must have been having the same conversation with someone else. So D, I'm gonna put you to work. We got a wonderful comment from one of our folks. They said, how I knew life coaching for individuals who experience depression and suicidal ideation and mental health illness was the path for me is I was them.
And it said I had the same experience others had, and I knew I had to help others overcome their dilemma with this disease or disorder as I did. And that makes sense because I believe that each of us, when you decide to pursue your goals, your passions, your dreams, you do this because you want to make a difference. So I started my company BCS Solutions because of me working for a small business that went out of business and 100 people lost their jobs, and they had all this money that was outstanding and they neglected collecting it. And so I realized that if you are in business, you need to do one thing: make sure that the sale is complete and the money's in the bank. So let me say it again: the sale needs to be complete and the money needs to be in the bank. The second part, if you're listening as a business owner, is that you need to track your accounts. So let me teach you something real quick. Get your pen, get your paper, and your favorite beverage. So we'll give you a short lesson. So as a business owner, whether you have one account or many accounts, you need to do the following. You need to track what's going on. So let me teach you something real quick. Number one, I'm old school. I like Excel. You probably have an app that can do this faster, but for the sake of the lesson, write this down. So number one, what's the name of your customer? Number two, if you have a contract with them or a contract number, write that down. Number three, how much is the contract for? Let's say it's for $10,000. Let's say you're doing customer consulting. So column number one is the customer name. Column number two, contract number if you have one. Column number three, what's the value of the contract? So if you are selling consulting services for $10,000, put that down there. Column number four, what did they buy from you? Did they buy sneakers? Did they buy consulting services? Did they buy hair braiding? Whatever they bought, write it down. Column number five, when are you supposed to deliver that service to them? Column number six, when are you supposed to bill them for it? And then column number seven, when are you supposed to collect the money? So again, first column is the name of your customer. Second column, contract number if you have one. Column number three, what's the value? Column number four, what did you sell them? Number five is when you're supposed to deliver it to them. Column number six, when you're supposed to invoice them. Send them a bill, make sure you get paid. And then column number seven is when you're supposed to get paid. The reason I tell you to do this is because this is how you know how much money is on the table. Tonight's conversation says stop leaving money on the table, but you won't know how much money is on the table if you don't track this. How many customers do you have? Do you have one customer? Do you have 5 customers? How do you know? How much is each contract worth? How do you know? How many invoices are outstanding? How do you know? How much money is owed to you? If you don't track this, you won't know. And then how much money is supposed to come in. And the reason I tell you to do this is so that you can do it old school, like I said, on an Excel spreadsheet. If you like whiteboard, you can use a whiteboard. You can do a notebook. I don't care how you do it, but this is the system I teach business owners how to do. And I've taught them successfully how to do this. And when you know how much money is outstanding, then you know how much money is on the table. Then you know, okay, I or somebody I work with needs to be making these calls to follow up and find out how come I haven't gotten paid. You will not stop leaving money on the table until you start tracking how much money is owed to you, number one. Number two, you won't stop tracking how much money is outstanding until you also follow up. Because a part of collecting the cash, which is what I'm known for, is that you have to do 3 things. Number one, you have to problem solve. What happened? What happened with the order? What happened with the delivery? What happened with the service? You as the CEO or as y'all say, the boss of your company, whichever term works for you, you're responsible for what happens. And if something didn't go right, either you or whoever your team is needs to follow up to find out what's going wrong and fix it. Because that's the other thing. It's not just problem solving. It's problem solving to resolution. You have to fix it. You have to address the issues. That's the first thing. Secondly, I believe it's an extension of customer service. The best example I can give y'all, because everybody who's watching tonight, y'all have a cell phone. And this is a perfect example. If you have a cell phone, put number 1 in the chat. Then we know that everybody who's listening. Y'all put number one in the chat. That's why I know y'all listening.
Number one.
Put number 1 in the chat. Because here's the thing. Your cell phone goes through the process I just explained. Number 1, you are a customer with whoever, whether it's AT&T, Verizon. I don't even know what this carrier it is, but you all get it. Yes. So you have a phone that they sold you your phone. Number 2, they have a contract with you. How do I know this? Because before you left the store, they scanned the back of your phone and the barcode is in there. Number 3, order entry happened. They know how many numbers of phones, whether it's Samsung, iPhone, LTG, whatever, did that. Number 4, invoicing. Accounts payable happens because they bill you. They invoice you every single month. And number five, you do accounts receivable. My lane, you pay them, or they have this magical button that says services temporarily disconnected.
Yep.
And we're trying to make sure that you don't get your services disconnected. So the cell phone is the best example of how your business works. You have a sale, you have a contract or an agreement with somebody, you have a product or a service that you provide to them. You invoice them, bill them, and then they pay you. Well, your cell phone goes through the exact same thing. So if you don't remember anything else tonight, if you just remember what I just told you about how to track things, and remember your cell phone goes through those 5 steps: the sale, the contract, the order, the delivery, your invoicing, and your payments. That's your business. And you need to know how many cell phones, as an example, do you have, so you can stop leaving money on the table. Because if you're owed money for one customer, that's one customer too many. That means you need to problem solve. You need to figure out why haven't they paid me, and get to the resolution. And my secret sauce is thank them for the opportunity to resolve the issue and maintain the relationship. The reason a lot of people don't like doing collections, which is what I do for a living, they don't like doing collections because they don't want to ruffle the feathers of the customer. But I contend this: you don't ruffle the feathers of your customer. What you're doing is you're problem solving, and you're extending customer service. Because when you take good care of your customers, they take great care of you. It's called reciprocity.
Right.
It's
Right.
called
That's
reciprocity.
right. That's right. So look, we're going to take a quick break, and we coming right back. And if you like what you're hearing, like, share, start a watch party, because we on fire, because it's time for you to ignite and take flight and stop leaving money on the table. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm D. Bowden. I'm the founder and CEO of BCS Solutions. I teach business owners how to recover old OLD and old OWED invoices for products and services already provided but not yet paid for. In the Black Enterprise Magazine article called Sealing the Money Leaks, I was recognized for recovering $6 million in 60 days. If you have services or products that you've already provided, you haven't paid, and you would like to recover your money in 90 days or less, please go to www.collectthecash.biz. That's www.collectthecash.biz.
All right. Fantastic.
Wow, no, that was pretty
Fantastic.
cool. That was pretty cool. I'm like, who's that person? I think I know them.
I think you know them. So look, folks, we've got a few comments. So we're going to go back and get some comments, because a lot of people have lost their jobs and did not have that plan B. So let's go right to Nikki's comment. And so I'm gonna read Nikki's comment from here because it's a little lengthy. She said, "Hey, for me personally, I don't know how it feels to have a job, was working person in our society, because I'm always fighting for my disability rights as a person who has the rights to the services. But one thing is hard to get hired for a job that I never had a job opportunity in my whole life, in my lifestyle, besides getting disability income for living. And I'm always advocating for disability, for disabled people, basically, but I'm not getting paid for what I'm doing. But people love to take advantage of us. That's the hard part, not to be the victim. And so, this is the thing. You have to leverage what you know, your knowledge. Your knowledge is your power once you put it into action. Right. Knowledge is not power until you move it off of the plate of here I am to this is what I'm doing.
Right.
So you have to learn to leverage that. And when you learn to leverage that, I'm sure D can help you figure out how to stop leaving your money on the table, because that's money that you're leaving on the table. And Camille said, this is why you have to be, or you have to have a plan B.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And D, who else we got right there?
Well, we have a Facebook user who says experience brings out the passion in you to help others through things that you've gone through in this life. And that's true. And I wish I could see the person's name, but I'll speak to you. So your Facebook user, thank you for your comment, because number one, you're right. What I do now is out of a passion that and a willingness to want to serve others. I didn't really wake up, one day and go, oh, I really want to do this. It kind of just evolved. I mean, I just kind of started looking at, what do I enjoy doing? I really enjoy solving problems. I really enjoy dealing with money and contracts, and I really enjoy telling stories. I had no idea that that story that I shared earlier about working as a part-time employee collecting $6 million in 60 days while working part-time would be the evolution to me deciding to launch a business and become a speaker and become an author and now being on a worldwide show tonight and so many more things. But I think the lesson tonight is for you, not just tonight, but tonight, tomorrow, and around the world, is this. You have to one of the things you have to do is I believe you have to get quiet. If you remember in a part of my story, one of the things I said was, I went to God. Now, you may or may not believe, and that's cool. That's your thing. That was my choice. That's what I did. But I believe you need to get quiet. There's you're hearing a lot of people talk about right now about vision boards and meditation and yoga, and all of those things are great. I don't really care what you do, but I do believe that you do need to get quiet. You are never going to get, I know this for sure, you will not get clarity on what you're good at and what's possible unless you sit down and get quiet, get still.
Yeah.
For some people, and it's very different. Some people get still in the shower. Some people get still taking walks. Some people get still walking on the beach. Some people get still, sleeping in late and just, getting under their covers. Some people get still going for walks in nature. Whatever the thing is that helps you to relax and put you in a place where you can think. Because here's the thing. What you all are experiencing tonight is because I've taken time to get quiet,
right,
and find what is it that really makes what makes me alive. When at the beginning of our conversation, you said, tell me about you. And I said, yep, I love smooth jazz. Yep. I love Ferris wheels. I love hot air balloon rides. And I also said, I love wine tastings, and I enjoy good wine. How did I do that? How did I learn that? Because I started looking at what makes me feel good. And I started writing it down. I know I love smooth jazz. So jazz is a part of my life. I've done a hot air balloon ride. And it was a majestic thing. I also love Ferris wheels. And Lois and I talked about this at length. I love Ferris wheels. Ferris wheels. Yes. People like, what? Yeah, exactly. Now that's my thing. You will not know what it is that refuels you until you take time to get quiet. And you also won't know what do you really want to do? What do you want to be known for? I didn't wake up, years ago and go, I want to be known for collections, or I want to be known for collecting the cash. What I woke up knowing is that I wanted to make a difference, and I didn't know exactly how, but I did know this. I decided to start down the path, and then as I went down the path, things evolved, things changed. And then I realized, oh, all right, well, I like to solve problems. I enjoy customer service. Mm-hmm. I like to talk. Mm-hmm. Okay, where's that going to lead? I don't really know yet, but the journey in the past 2 years, as y'all saw the video, you saw that I've been featured in Black Enterprise Magazine. What? I've been featured by Thrive Global. What? I'm an author now. What? All of that came from me working that part-time job, and losing my job. But all of these blessings that I have today came from me deciding that I wanted to make a difference. And what I'm hoping that I convey to you is that find a way that you can serve. It doesn't always have to be about money, but find a way you can make a difference. I decided that for me, that if I can teach business owners how to stop leaving money on the table and to learn my tracking system of what I shared earlier, if you learn to do that and that you learn to pay attention, that when your customers aren't paying you, you won't be caught off guard. And if you are, you can course correct it before it gets worse.
Yes. Yes. I love that. And see, this is the thing. This is why I always tell people to get their notepad and pen. And I always tell people get in where they fit in, because I've always got room around my table. And I tell them I'm bringing inspiration to every nation, because there's not a nation on this planet that can't use what you're saying. Because let's talk about it.
Sure.
You had folks, you gave some stellar lessons to people who are in business. And you told them right up front, the sale is complete and the money is in the bank. That's when it's really done. When the sale is complete and the money is in the bank. And especially how we've had to pivot in the pandemic. How did we go back and get that money that was on the table? Golly, you showed us what is our customer names? What is their contact? What did they buy? What was the value of the contract? What was when was it delivered? When do you send the bill? And see, this is the thing. And I know a customer that one of her concerns was she would never send her customer the bill. And I've been guilty of that too, because you're working so hard and you leaving the money on the table. And I've left money on the table and then had to go back and say, here, this is your invoice. But this one thing I know, D, is a lot of times after the job is done, then the thank you is not as hearty as when it's first done. So you got to get your money off the table right then and there. How much is the invoice? We should know what we're charging people. And at the end of the day, we got to collect that cash.
And let me jump in real quick. And here's another way that y'all can really get this, because I realize that there may be some people listening tonight who are not business owners, and that's totally fine. But the example of the sale is complete and the money's in the bank is this. Everybody who's listening, all y'all have a debit card or a MasterCard. When you swipe your credit card, you're waiting for these two magical words: transaction completed. That's the same thing as the sale is complete and the money is in the bank. Because guess what? When it goes through, they're withdrawing. They're debiting your account or they're crediting your credit card. The point is, you don't get to leave the store until the receipt says transaction approved. That's the same thing as the sale is complete and the money's in the bank. Or if you're embarrassed and then your card gets declined, you swap it out real quick and you give them another card, or you end up paying in cash. But the point is, you still don't leave the store until the transaction is approved. That's I say the sale is complete and the money's in the bank, because that's more of a business term. But everybody who's ever shopped, whether you use a debit card or a credit card, you pay cash. You look for that thing that says transaction complete. It's the same thing.
Wow. And so look, folks, time is flying. I cannot believe this. This is such a tasty morsel that we have put on the tip of your palate tonight for you to chew on. And now Camille said you make $6 million for the company and they let you go. That is so wicked. This is the reason why I work for myself. And I think many of us have really been in that position. And some of us are even in that position now. Many of us were told, no, you can't work at home. Pandemic or no pandemic, we need you to come in. No show up, no dough up.
Yeah.
And so
let me correct Camilla, because Camilla, what happened was I didn't make the money. I collected it for the company. But here's the thing. If you first of all, congratulations for you working for yourself. Let me start there.
Yes.
Number two, I collected the money for a company like most of us. We work until you have your own business. You work for someone else, and you do make money for them.
Yep. But this is what I'm hearing Camille say. If you didn't collect that money, they would have gotten someone else to collect the money. But would that person have collected as much money as D did?
No,
probably not.
Probably not.
So, you brought in the $6 million is what I believe Camille is saying. And Camille, if I'm on the mark, go ahead and put a number 2 in the comment, and I'm gonna pull that comment up. Whatever you, if I'm off the mark, put a number 5, and I know I ain't staying alive on that one. Put a number 5, but that's what I'm hearing her say.
Yeah.
And the reality is that we oftentimes we do this for companies. Like, you could be working at McDonald's, you might be making $70,000 a year, but you're pulling in 2.5 million
in sales
in 6 months in sales. And all the money is coming through your hand. You're training all the people there, and it's coming through your hand. Okay. Let's go right here. I like this because she kind of chimed back on what you said. Be still and know that God is always working on us. Okay. And D, what we got right here?
Another Facebook user who says, amen, getting quiet and meditation works for me. Yes. And opens the door for me to hear from God and for God to instruct me as well. And it's true because, the Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. I believe I also believe there's another principle that God teaches us, which is this. If you read in Genesis, and I think it's chapter 1, it basically lays out how God laid out the world. Every day God worked, and he did a work, then he reflected, then he did something else, and then he reflected, and then he gave a principle. Seventh day he rested. Now, I believe if God who didn't need to rest, but he was teaching a principle, which is that you do something every single day, you reflect on what you did, because how do you get better if you don't take time to get still, if you don't take time to reflect, if you don't take time to course correct? Now, please hear me. I'm not saying God needed to course correct anything. I'm just saying a principle that he showed. This is what you do. And at the end of every day, he said, this is good. And how did he know it was good? Because he sat and he reflected. He saw what he did.
He examined it. Examined it. And she, God, energy, however you identify, God examined it. And that's what God is asking us to do. Really, we need to examine to show what?
Yourself approved.
There you go. So once you show yourself approved, and you're only going to get there from doing what?
Being quiet.
Right. From that still place, looking back on what has been done. And so April Hopkins said multiple streams. And we talked many, many times on this show that it's been said that the average person needs 7 to 8 streams of income. But here in the pandemic, I've been hearing millionaires and billionaires say we need 10 streams of income. So, if it's okay to have the income, but still, if you don't know how to stop leaving the money on the table, you're still leaving some of that income behind.
Exactly.
Okay? So we've got Pat Rogers. Good to see you. She said, hey, how are you? Pat from Miami. Always good to see you. The visibility strategist herself. And Dr. Florence says, thanks, beloved, for your insight. And thank you, because D is dynamite. I told you. Okay, so here we have Dr. Florence says she loves this.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
All right. What we got next, D?
It says another Facebook user who says, yes, I live my life serving and helping others. Awesome teaching. I'm enjoying this. Well, thank you very much. And I think this is really important because for the pandemic, I think the pandemic taught us a few things. Number one, the pandemic actually gave you lots of time to get still and get quiet, whether you wanted to or not. And how you've come out of how you're coming out of 2020 is a reflection of what did you do during this time.
Exactly.
You asked me, so how did I know that I wanted to do this? What I knew coming out of this pandemic is I wanted to be able to create something. So I have a new book that's coming out actually called Collect the Cash. And that's as a result of me getting still, quiet, and deciding that one of the ways that I can teach more effectively what I know how to do is write a book. So the book will be out in the spring. But it was also to document the process I've gone through, but also to teach business owners past, currently and future. This part of your business is really important because you have lots of people that talk to you about strategy, business plans, and all that. And all that stuff is really important. But once you get into business and once you start making money, you do need to know how many sales you have. You need to know the things I laid out earlier, and you need to make sure not to leave any money on the table. And let me say this: there are sometimes you may have a customer where it's challenging to get them to pay you. and this happens. So let me just address it. Sometimes you do have a customer that you may have done everything right. You may have, you may have performed a great product. I'm sorry, sold a great product, performed a great service, and y'all have been back and forth. Y'all have been doing ping pong forever, and you're like, look here. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. I think the song says you have to know when to fold them, or that part. Sometimes you have to know this customer. I may have to take a loss for the team.
Yes.
Because sometimes the energy that you keep exerting to try to get this payment, it's just not working. Sometimes you just have to decide to cut your losses and move on. And even that will teach you there are certain things you need to know. So I've heard people tell me, well, I don't have problems with collections because I get my money up front. That's great. Right. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people I'm talking to the people that are in corporations, that are in larger scale companies where payments can be an issue. And I want to teach you how not to be. Now, if you're type of service where you get paid up front, fantastic. You've gotten a piece of my lesson, which is you're not leaving any money on the table because you get your funds up front. But in the event that you scale and you get larger contracts and it doesn't go as quickly as you like, you do need to know how to track everything so that when you do get stuck and you don't get paid, you'll have a lesson that says, oh, I remember what D said. D said, do this, 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 and this. Oh, and
exactly. Exactly. And so D and I have really, really talked for a long time. And one thing that we know for sure is that I would say a large percentage of people, even major business owners, oftentimes miss this mark right here, what we're sharing with you tonight. So I want to take this comment from Tamika Jones. Jones, she said, "This is awesome. Always have seen myself as a business owner. I have learned so much just now. I continue to want to learn more. I believe the manifestation is to come. Being still is what I have been learning in these last few months. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing more and hearing more that I can put into practice in my businesses and personal life." Well, let me tell you, Miss Jones, you've come to the right place tonight, because we are trying to help everyone ignite and take flight in the wealth of their life and stop leaving money on the table. And she put a number 2 in there, and she said, exactly right. I need to get more understanding of this. This is awesome. Well, we thank you for sharing that. And D, we are actually past the top of the hour, and we still had 2 more questions
let's do them.
So let's do them.
Let's do them.
So D,
yes,
you and I, we talked about something that had happened. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna take a sip. Okay. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna tell you guys about what had happened. We'll be right back. Many people are trying to get in front of people on social media and don't know how, because they don't know how to live stream. Well, you've come to the right place at the right time. And if you want to get noticed, you need to see Lotus. So reach out to her at www.lotusigniteyou.com. That's www.lotusigniteyou.com, so that you can get in front of the people that need your services and your products today.
Hello, I'm D. Bowden. I'm the founder and CEO of BCS Solutions. I teach business owners how to recover old OLD and old OWED invoices for products and services already provided but not yet paid for. In the Black Enterprise Magazine article called Sealing the Money Leaks, I was recognized for recovering $6 million in 60 days. If you have services or products that you've already provided, you haven't paid, and you would like to recover your money in 90 days or less, please go to www.collectthecash.biz. That's www.collectthecash.biz. Transaction approved, baby. That's right. And the money is in the bank, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
So look, we were going to ask, we got 2 more questions for D before she jump off. But look, D, and thank you for sticking around, because people are learning so much.
Hey, that's why we're sharing. Listen, that's why we're here.
Exactly
Yes,
right.
let me jump in and say this real quick, because here's the thing. Um, to everybody who's here tonight who has learned something, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Because here's the thing. You could have spent your time anywhere tonight.
Yeah.
Trust and believe. Trust me, I got you. But the fact that you're here, no, seriously, thank you.
Amen.
Because obviously, Lotus and I came together tonight to make a difference, to ignite you, to teach you how to stop leaving money on the table. But before you even learn how to stop leaving money on the table, you need to learn the foundation. The foundation is how to be still, and how to think,
Exactly.
and how to take some notes, and how to get quiet, and to decide to believe in yourself.
Mhm.
That part, decide to believe in yourself and to go for it. I decided to go for it. I didn't know 100% that this was gonna evolve. I've had that one story. I have once. I have lots of other stories, but that one story is it has been the catalyst for everything
Mhm.
that y'all are seeing tonight. It's been that
Yes.
one story, along with my faith in God and
Mhm.
my work, because faith without works is dead. It ain't just God giving me stuff. He gives me stuff, but I gotta work. It's a partnership.
Exactly.
We gotta work. We gotta work.
Exactly, exactly. So Aya Blaine, I know you love it. I know you watching, but you got a mad face up there. So maybe she mad because she didn't get her pad or pen. But Aya Blaine, we see you. We love you. Thank you for being on our previous show. We love you, girl. And listen, folks,
Catch the replay.
every time we come to you, every time we come to you, we're bringing you information that's going to help yourself ignite and take flight. So I can't leave the show without you telling us what had happened. So tell us about what had happened, or what happened was. There we
Oh,
go.
okay. So, so, oh my gosh, this is funny. So, what had happened? So I was talking about collections, and like I said earlier, in being on the show, most people hear collections and they cringe. And so
Mhm.
I was sharing with Lotus about what had happened was experience. So literally, I was actually recovering money for a government agency, and what had happened was, seriously, was I have my report, and I'm looking at the numbers, and they say this, this, and this. And so I reconcile my money, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I reach out to my vendor, and they said, no, those numbers are not right. You're short $9,000. And I'm like, what? And so I came up, literally said, I was like, what had happened was, and she said, oh, what had happened was, seriously, was that we returned the money to the United States Treasury back in February of this year. I'm like, you did? So of course that was what had happened was. So I had to sit down and let her tell me the story of what had happened was. And so we literally start talking, and she said, oh yeah, D, um, we reconciled our money, and we realized we owe this money back. It's kind of like if you owe the IRS, after you do your taxes, and they come back, they do an audit, and they say, oh no, you owe us more money, and they want it back. Well, they did an audit, and they realized that, oh, we need to return this money back. So they returned the money back to the treasury, which is great. But
Yes.
remember when I said how you have to, write down the name of your customer and the contract number? Well, guess
Yep.
what? They wrote down the wrong contract number, and so the money's been sitting in a suspense account since February, because I couldn't find it because they gave me the wrong number. So what had happened was I'm trying to reconcile this money, but I can't, and I don't know that there's $9,000 that needs to be put back on my account because they had the wrong contract number. So I jokingly said, I'm going to create a little series about what had happened was in collections, but it doesn't have to be in collections. Everybody who's listening tonight,
Yes.
if y'all have had a what had happened was experience, put a one in the comments.
That's
Put a one in
right.
the comments,
Put a
because
one.
all of us have what had happened was when you go to the dry cleaners to pick up your favorite outfit, and they tell you, oh, well, we sent it out to whoever who processes, who cleans it or steams it, and it didn't come back on the day. You're like, you said this, that. What had happened was, as soon as you hear the what had happened was,
there.
you already know. You already
know.
what had happened was, you already know that there's something that went wrong. So I jokingly said I was going to create a what had happened was in collections, because whether it's collections, whether it's business, whether it's with your friends, if you out with your good girlfriends and she tells you, girl, what had happened was, you're like, this is about to be a real good story, because something happened. But we all have it. Even in the Bible,
Yep.
Even in the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we got a whole bunch of what had happened was. What had happened was. And then how did God fix it? God fixed it with John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So God's answer to what had happened was to give us Jesus through John 3:16. That was smooth. I'm gonna come through here.
That was smooth. Come through. Come on.
but seriously, even Almighty, and I just got that, but seriously, even Almighty God had a answer to what had happened was, because every situation in life, everybody has one of those what had happened was stories. And here's what's even crazier, y'all. What had happened was now is a business. When you watch reality TV, what do you think that is? What had happened was when the ladies come together, the Real Housewives of whatever city, whatever, what are they telling you? What had happened was da 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 da. I mean, you and I, Lotus, you and I remember old school soap operas. What do you think that was? What had happened was?
What had happened was, as the world turns, people were searching for tomorrow, but some of them got sick and had to go to General Hospital. I'm telling you.
Right. And wait, and I'll take you one back. How about even looking for love through the secret storm?
Hey, because it's all my children.
Always, and these are the days of our lives.
So if y'all know what we talking about, put a number 2 in the comment block. Camille said, "I love it." Tamika said, "Amen."
Yeah, but that's what had happened was, and it's basically a principle for people to understand that in your life, in your business, in your finances, in your health, you will have a what had happened was. But the decision you have to make is, after what had happened was, what are you going to do about it?
Exactly. Because like I said all the time, people say knowledge is power, but it's not power until you put it in action. So when what had happened happens to you, what are you gonna do to change what has happened to you? I always say to people, you have to act or be acted upon. Mm-hmm. And so when life happens, you got to act, because whatever happened gonna keep happening, especially if you stay stuck in the mode of do nothing. Mm-hmm. And if you are having a what had happened was in your business, in your life, and you ready, I mean, really, really ready and able, and even if you don't think you able, to stop leaving money on the table, this show is for you tonight. Mm-hmm. To help you straighten up, get right, get tight, and ignite and take flight, and stop leaving money on the table tonight. So, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and Dee and we're going to give you some words of wisdom. We're going to let you know how to connect with us, and make sure you join us for other shows, because, oh, baby, we're going to help y'all stop leaving money on the table. We will be right back. Remarkable queen of soul, the goddess of soul, Martha Howard. love it. I love it. And guess what? Guess what's about to happen, y'all? I got to tell you this. Ah.
Hello, I'm Bowden. I'm the founder and CEO of BCS Solutions. I teach business owners how to recover old OLD and old OWED invoices for products and services already provided but not yet paid for. In the Black Enterprise Magazine article called Stealing the Money Leaks, I was recognized for recovering $6 million in 60 days. If you have services or products that you've already provided, you haven't paid, and you would like to recover your money in 90 days or less, please go to www.collectthecash.biz. That's www.collectthecash.biz.
The transaction is approved with D. Bowden.
I love it. That is like awesome. That is so fabulous.
So, D,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you so much for being on the show with me
Thank you.
tonight.
My goodness, this has been fun. We gotta do this again. We gotta do this again.
Yes, that's the plan, Sam. And look, we got a couple of quick comments, so let's take those right quick, and then we'll go right into our words of wisdom. Okay. Don't let life happen unless you just want to watch it pass you by. Excellent point, Angela. I like that. And then she said, unless it's the movie you want to watch. Wow.
Wow. Wait, can I respond to that?
Yes, please.
Can you put the comment back up, please?
We're gonna go to this one first.
Yep.
And then she said, "Bow."
Unless it's the movie you want to watch. Angela, thank you for dropping such powerful words of wisdom. Because here's the thing: most people don't realize that their life really is a movie.
Yes.
And it's always moving in the direction of your thoughts, and how you as a man or a woman thinks, so shall he become. And so your life is the movie. And if you don't like the way it's moving forward, then you got to check, what are you thinking about? What are you feeding yourself? How are you replenishing yourself? What are you doing? Have you had a moment to get still? Have you been quiet? But if you want the movie to look different, you got to change your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, you change your life. You change your life, you change your habits. You change your habits, you open yourself up, as Lotus talked about, to the well of abundance.
Yep. And when you change what you think about changes. And so we're going to give you some words of wisdom as we begin to move through our broadcast. D?
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you again so much for watching us tonight. First of all, tonight has been about stop leaving money on the table. So you might be thinking, why would I want to leave money on the table? You don't. That's the whole thing. You don't want to leave any more money on the table. If you are in business and you are owed money, reach out to your vendors and make sure that, number one, you thank them for being your customer. Number two, follow up with them and solve the problem. Because here's the thing that you need to know. Collections is three things. It's problem solving, number one. It's an extension of customer service, number two. And my secret sauce is gratitude. You might be saying again, why would I say thank you? Because the thing is, they could have chosen another person to do business with, but they chose you. So honor them and say thank you, and then solve their problem so that you can get paid. Number two, don't forget to take care of yourself. Self-care is really, really, really important. Now you might be saying, what does self-care have to do with leaving money on the table? Well, you won't have the energy to go collect your cash if you don't take care of yourself. So make sure you are, resting. Here, add water. Do some simple thing. Add some water to your life. What makes you smile? Do you like music? Do you like wine? Do you like jazz? You like taking walks in nature? Take care of yourself. Self-care is really important, because if you're an entrepreneur or an employee, either one, you got to figure out what brings you joy, what makes you feel good, and do more of that. Even in the midst of COVID, you can still do some things to bring you joy. You can take a walk. You can drink some water. You can exercise for 30 minutes. You can read a good book. You can listen to a podcast. You can do things so you can set yourself up for success. Because here's the thing. We're closing out 2020 right now, but many of you are already like, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. But 2020 still has, I think, 16 days left. How about instead of rushing for 2020 to be over, how about you plan for your 2021 success now and start mapping out what are the areas you need to change? What's up with your money, whether personally or in business? Are you in debt? Why don't you write down how much debt you owe, and then why don't you make a plan for how you're going to get out of debt? How's your health? How's your weight? Have you gained some of the COVID weight? All right, well, maybe it's time to make a plan to start losing that weight so you can be healthier in 2021. How are your relationships? Got some? You still have your friends? Don't lose your friends. Make sure you check on your friends. Check on your friends. Make sure they're good as long as you're good as well. And then plan to have some fun. In the midst of everything that's gone on in 2020, people have managed to have fun. I've had a lot of fun this year. It's in the midst of everything that's happened, I've had a lot of fun because I made a decision to have some fun. I made a decision to have some fun. Don't forget to check on your friends. Don't also forget to do self-care and check on you. Make sure you're good. And if something is off, take care of it. Here's the thing. You have to make decisions every single day on how you're going to be successful. And success isn't always money. It isn't always the fancy cars or flashy cars. So success sometimes is just realizing that you are good. You've got a good support system with you. And if you don't, maybe one of the things you may have to learn to do is build that. But the point is, you have to plan for success, and you have to map out how will you get to success. One of my good friends always asks the question. She says, "How will you know when you reach your goal if you have never laid it out?" Now, right now, you've got 16 days until 2021. Map out your vision board. Get your magazines. Cut out the pictures. Go ahead and dream. Go ahead and dream big. Why not? You will never know whether you can accomplish that until you can actually see it as a picture in front of you, and then start to do the work. You may not know how to do everything that's on the board. That's okay. Give yourself permission to dream. Write the vision. Make it plain so you can run with it. So you can see, what are you working toward for success in 2021? I have a vision board. My vision board is saved on my phone. I've looked at it for every day of this year. And each time I see it, I'm reminded of the things that I said I wanted to work on. So one of the things on my vision board was water. People were like, "Are you serious?" Yep, water. Because I was not big on drinking water. I was not. I'll tell y'all the truth. I was not. But when I made out my vision board, one of the things I said was, I'm putting water on my board as a reminder to take better care of me. I can't tell y'all to do self-care, and I'm not doing it. So started with the water. And I can tell y'all now, I can tell the difference when I don't drink a lot of water. And so just making that one small change has done tremendous things for me. And like I said, don't forget to have fun. And another thing, if you're an employee, or if you're a person that's an employee and you want to start a business, do me a favor, please save some money. One of the best things you can do for 2021 is do something which is called the 52-week savings challenge. You can actually start saving up some money now and plan to have some money saved up so that when you want to launch your business, you're not going into debt to create your business. So it's called the 52-week savings challenge. If I'm not mistaken, I think you can save up, if you do it for a year, you'll save up almost $2,000. That's not a lot of money, but it's a good little start to get you going. So for example, if you want to start your business and file the paperwork to get an LLC, that costs you money. If you get a website, that's going to cost you money. To open up your business checking account, that's going to cost you money. You need money to start business. And so as opposed to you swiping your credit card, if you set aside either an envelope, a jar, or open up a separate account and just say, okay, I'm going to do the 52-week savings challenge, and I'm going to plan to save up some money for the next year so that I can start my business. And then you can start doing little things to add to that. But the point is so that you can plan to be successful. You can set yourself up for success. That's the goal. The goal, one of the things in terms of not leaving money on the table and actually planning for success, is the people that are successful, they plan. They don't just wing it. They plan. And I know you'd be like, "Oh, gee, I don't want to plan." Well, okay, that's your choice. You absolutely can choose not to plan. But we're telling you tonight to plan. I'm suggesting that you get a vision board, cut out the pictures from the magazine, do the super glue, and declare what are you going to do for 2021. That's number one. Number two, add some exercise. Add water. have fun, and then start writing it down. And here's the thing: you don't have to have everything figured out, but you do have to have a vision. You got to have a goal so you can see what are you working toward. Otherwise, somebody talked about you'll be watching the movie of your life, and you'll be watching this movie, and it just keeps rolling, but you're not happy with how it's rolling because you didn't plan for anything to be different. You can't have different until you plan to be different. And as it says here, get started and make adjustments along the way. You listen. I would rather you just get started and celebrate the fact that you actually got started. Yes, you'll make mistakes. Yep, things won't go right. Yep, all of that. But get started and then follow through. Here's nothing. Follow through. Follow through. You will never know what you can accomplish until you decide to follow through. Be consistent. Stick with it. Stick with it. Yes, it's hard. Nothing in life that's worth having comes easy. All the people that we admire, all of them, if they could join me on this live right now, they would tell you, don't quit. Follow through. Stick with it. Make adjustments. Keep reading. Listen to podcasts. Take classes. Admit that you're scared. It's okay, but don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck. You got to keep going. Because the blessings and the success is on the other side of you being scared. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone. Take the risk. Yeah, take the risk. You might be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're saying it. Yeah, take the risk. I'm taking a risk tonight. I'm out here talking to y'all. Take the risk. But here's the thing. You take the risk. You get out there, and you'll know soon. You'll know. Okay, this doesn't feel right. Okay, then stop that. Get quiet. Assess what happened, what worked and what didn't, and then decide to do something different. But keep going. Don't quit. The reason we admire the people that we admire because they didn't quit. They kept going. They kept going. Thanks. Can't hear you.
Let me unmute. So, but D, check this out. I know we're supposed to have these our final words of wisdom, folk, but we have some words of wisdom, D, that came to us, and I've got to bring this up here because this is phenomenal. And this came from Angela Elton. She said, "We are in control of our movie. We are the director, producer, actor, audience, and critic. What movie would you want to see in the end?"
Extremely.
That's powerful. So what movie do you all want to see? I saw April Hopkins. She said, I have some things on my vision board, but are you taking action? What movie do you want to see? Tamika said, wow, yes, take the risk. Yeah, take the risk. But make sure when you're taking a risk, you're planning properly for that risk. You're putting money where you need to put money at. Because D, you talked about something phenomenal. And you and I, we talked about this. When people come to me and they say, well, Lotus, I have a company and I need videos and I need this and I need that. At first, I didn't tell them, okay, what's your budget? My team and I, we prepare something for them, do an analysis for them. But I learned to ask people, what is your budget? Because you can't do business without a budget that's going to sustain the business that you're trying to do. So that's my words of wisdom. If you are trying to do your business, don't try it, do it. And go to people who know how to get you seen. Like a lot of people say, if you want to get noticed, see Lotus. You've got to go to the people that know how to help you get in front of the people that want, need, and are ready to purchase your services and products. And also, you need to have a product that you can sell while you are asleep. While you are snoring, while the drool is coming down because you work so hard, you have got to have something that you don't have to do anything for, but create it. Create it and let the world explore and embrace your creation, because everything starts with a thought. And whatever you're thinking, if God has given it to you, God will take you through whatever you need to go through to get through to 2, so that you can do what you need to do. to get to where you want to go. It's a simple process, but you got to know the process. And so, D, I'm super happy that you came here tonight. I cannot wait to our next show. Folks, make sure you join our next show because we got some secret sauce that we're going to give you on the next show that we're not going to give you tonight. But we're going to give you some secret sauce. And Tamika said, Angela Elton, love what you said. And I love it too. And I'm going to bring it right back up here. Remember this as we begin to close. Remember, you are in control of your movie. You are the director, you are the producer, you are the actor, you are the audience and the critic. What movie do you want to see? And as I close tonight, I'm going to play this for you because you know what? So many people, D, have said, Lotus, I want to speak. I want to be on a stage. I want somebody to see me. I want to be heard. Well, here is your chance. Make sure you check out the TEDxX. Get on the stage, get in front of people, but most importantly, get prepared. Get your business the way you want to be. Okay. So with that said, we love you. We appreciate you. And always remember, come on in and get in where you're fitting. Because I always got room around my table for you because, hey, I'm bringing inspiration to every nation so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time. If you're an entrepreneur and you are ready to live the dream in 2021, well, come on and get on board with the visibility strategist herself, the CEO of Unity in Service, where people need people, the phenomenal Patricia Rogers, as she presents Entrepreneurs Living the Dream 2021. It's an online event that you don't want to miss. There will be several opportunities for public speakers, public TEDxX speakers. You heard it right, public TEDxX speakers. Starting on February 25th, 2021, June 24th, 2021, October 21st, 2021, April 22nd, 2021, and August 26th, 2021. You don't want to miss this. Get at her at info@patriciarogers.com, info@patriciarogers.com, where Unity in Service, where people need